So I'm sure you guys have all seen it by now. Zion Williamson is now skinny. And while the images are jarring, it's not exactly all that surprising. Now, it is definitely a shocking image. He's smaller than even college Zion. But the reason why it's not exactly the most shocking thing in the world is I think this summer, even last year at the deadline, was the most buzz we've ever heard around Zion potentially being moved. And I don't think the fact that his name was in trade rumors was all that shocking to him. But I think the fact that no one really wanted to pull the trigger on a Zion deal might be a little bit alarming to him and his standing in the NBA. Maybe that's me reading too much into it. And you might even be saying to yourself, what? Zion wasn't really in trade rumors. You might believe that, but that's because no one was going out of their way to go get Zion. I think if someone really wanted to get Zion, they probably could have gotten him. And if you're seeing what's going on in the NBA right now, we're in a different time. We're in a different era. I don't know how long it's going to last, but usually all of our lives really, you just pay the guy. You just walk into a max deal. But you look at someone like Trae Young right now. Now, maybe by the time this goes up, he gets an extension. But even Trae Young, and I say that like he's done some amazing winning there, but Trae Young is a franchise level player with a great team, not a great team, but a young, competent, looks like they're building something in Atlanta, and they're still not ready to just give Trae Young that extension right now. Whereas 5 years ago, that would be an automatic extend Trae Young, extend Bradley Beal, right? I'm not trying to compare them as players, but you get what I'm saying. Like, that was the NBA we were in. Now we're in the NBA where, you know what, Zion, we're not just gonna give you an extension. Think about it. I know how old he is, but Kevin Durant is eligible for an extension right now. He's not getting it as of now. He'll probably get it, right? And eligible for an extension right now. If you're Memphis, we're going to wait that out. We're just in a different time. Karl Anthony Towns, same thing. All these guys, an era prior, would have just gotten paid because that was the NBA we were in, and it's different now. So now there's a lot for Zion to prove. And to be clear, Zion is not up for a contract, but he is eligible to be extended. On his deal, he has 2 more years after this year. So his money's relatively good. But the reason why I'm posing it that way is this current Pelicans team, I don't know what they're doing. I like a lot of their pieces, but do I have faith that they're going to be building toward the right direction and make smart moves and, you know, become this championship team around Zion? I don't. For a bevy of reasons, right? One is I don't believe in Zion being able to stay healthy. I also still have questions about Zion's game at the highest level. We haven't really seen him in a playoff setting yet. We know Zion can get his numbers, but I'm still wondering, how does that look around a great team? Is point Zion championship level basketball? I have my doubts about that. But also guys like Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, guys who I love, are also guys that get injured a lot. They're young talent. I guess we shouldn't put a cap on Yves Missy. He might end up being an all-star level big. I'm not predicting that, but it wouldn't be the most shocking thing in the world. And maybe Trey Murphy is an all-star level player, maybe even in a crazy world, an all-NBA level player. But I still don't see championship core in this team unless, again, Yves Missy just becomes that guy or Derek Queen becomes that guy. But the reason I'm phrasing it this way is because I feel like this season is more important to the future of Zion somewhere else. Sorry, Pelicans fans, but I feel like that's what I'm watching with this new version of Zion. How does he fit in a different scenario? And maybe we'll see it in this team right now. Like the idea of Yves Missy and Trey Murphy both hitting their ceilings next to Zion means that Zion has to evolve his game a bit, especially defensively. And now with this lighter version of Zion, could we potentially see him be able to guard threes? Something that wasn't really in the cards for Zion, something we never thought about. And if you were a team that was interested in acquiring Zion, that's not something you really thought about. If Zion shows he can defend on the perimeter more, defend threes, that changes the whole dynamic. That allows you a lot more flexibility. And trust me, I understand how great Zion is, the talent of Zion. We use the word generational a lot. Zion is truly a generational talent, but we are talking about a 6'6" power forward that has been out of shape majority of his career, can't shoot, can't defend on the perimeter, and operates at his best with the ball in his hands. That's not an easy thing to build around. So when I seen the picture of skinny Zion, immediately that's where my mind went. Is this gonna change who he is as a defender? Is he gonna be fighting through screens now? Could it be that drastic of a difference with just the effort level one, but obviously the body transformation? That changes everything. Because when you think about it, he should be amazing on defense as well. I also wonder if we're gonna see more Zion dunks this year, which is crazy to say about Zion, but low-key, very low-key, this is gonna sound crazy, but Zion's very low-key a below-the-rim finisher. Now, of course, he can get up there with the best of them when he loads up, and he does have the quick twitch. His second jump is crazy, probably his best skill, like being able to get back up that quickly. Obviously, again, generational talent. But Zion, I feel like when Zion was drafted, we all probably would have imagined more posters. Instead, he has like acrobat on Hall of Fame, right? That's Zion. And something I struggle with trying to gauge with Zion is he's been taking a lot more shots in the floater range compared to right at the rim. Now, is that him trying to expand his game, or is that him not being able to get to that spot as easy as he did before? And I guess if he really gets that floater, that little 10-foot jumper that he loves down, it doesn't really matter if that becomes a reliable weapon for him. But I don't know if you guys remember at the start of last year, Zion was terrible. Now, he started the year sick or something, but it was terrible and it was alarming. I think the stat was in the first 4 games, and I remember it because I made a video about it. In the first 4 games, he was blocked 14 times. And I would like to believe that that woke something up inside of him that made him realize, okay, I have to expand my game. Because then he ended up taking a lot more mid-range jumpers, a lot more floaters, and it looked good doing it. But is that something that he can rely on? Because again, I'm not sure if it's a Zion slowing down due to all the injuries. I'm not sure if the league has kind of figured him out and he's predictable. Even if he's predictable, you still got to be an amazing player to stop him at all. But let's for a second live in the hypothetical fairy tale land where Zion is healthy all year, Trey Murphy's healthy all year, Herb Jones is healthy all year. What do we expect from this team? I think Jordan Poole is underrated. I think Jordan Poole is going to have a crazy year. But even if Jordan Poole has the best year of his career, is that going to be better than CJ McCollum has been? Probably not. A big reason why I brought up Zion potentially playing some 3 defensively is you look at this team, besides Herb Jones, they have no wing defenders on this team. You know, Jordan Hawkins is small. Trey Murphy has been a horrible perimeter defender. Zion has been a horrible perimeter defender. It's really just Herb Jones out there. And that is the main reason why I wouldn't believe in this team. I think they're going to score a lot of points. I think they're going to be hard to stop, but I don't think they're going to stop anybody. So best case scenario for this team, Zion leads them to a 7 seed. He looks like an all-NBA player. He looks like someone that's worthy of a super max contract. Then what? If your rebuttal to that is we're just going to be a decent team, sure, that's fine, right? There's nothing wrong with just being a decent team. But I feel like the marriage is just not going to last to be a decent team, if that makes any sense, right? I just feel like what's more likely to happen here is Zion's going to prove his trade value again. I feel like that's what's going to happen. And to me, that's why it's so important for Zion to show he can do more than just point Zion. Everything built around Zion. Like I said before, I understand Zion's talent, so I don't want to act like it's just impossible for Zion to come out and be an MVP level player. I think that's a real possibility, and I understand why you don't just give up on that player. But just looking at the future of this team, we can't really predict out. We don't know what Messi's going to be. We don't know what Fears is going to be. We don't know what Derek Queen's going to be. But I believe what's going to happen is a team that is in place, a team that does have that player to put next to Zion is going to make that move to go get Zion. And I feel like two recent examples, one, or it's not even that recent anymore, but Anthony Davis is the most obvious one, right? Who was qualified as a number one option. He was good enough as a number one option. He was more accomplished than Zion as a number one option. He was better than Zion as a number one option, but he was more suited to be that second guy. Now, I was going to bring up Cat, but Cat was already the second guy when he got traded, but similar thing. Number one overall pick, put up all NBA seasons, didn't really accomplish much with Minnesota before that last year, goes to New York and has an all NBA season as the number two, but a number two that's allowed to do a little bit more than he was in Minnesota. Is that the route we're going to see for Zion, to pair him with that other star? To me, that seems a lot more likely than Zion just being on this middle of the pack team for the next 2 years. And I'm not saying the Pelicans should make the decision for this reason, but if you do believe in Trey Murphy the way you say you do, if you do believe in Derek Queen, who you just gave up that pick to go get, and you do believe in Yves Missy, Zion with those guys, I wouldn't say is the best particular fit. And I'm not saying one gotta go, but I'm just being real looking at it. I think what's gonna happen is Zion is gonna be amazing this year. He's gonna have an all NBA season. He might even sneak into some MVP ballots if the Pelicans are, in the 7-6 range, maybe. Maybe he gets into that conversation, but we're gonna come away from this season thinking they're not close at all. And we're gonna think, oh, Zion can go to a team and make them a contender right away. That it's not gonna happen with this Pelicans team. I don't know, you guys let me know if I'm being too pessimistic here. Maybe it's my history with this Pelicans team, but what do you think is more likely? We come away from this season thinking, man, they were building something, or man, Zion looks great. He could probably help a contender right now. I think that's what's gonna happen. And I brought this guy up before, but it didn't even occur to me how direct of a parallel it is with Trae Young. Like I said before, he's eligible for an extension too, but the Hawks are not giving it to him right now. But you look at his situation, if Zion had that team, if the Pelicans were that team, I would be more open to the idea that, oh, they're just gonna stick it out, he's gonna stay there forever, right? But you got Porzingis, Jalen Johnson, already two guys at least on the level of Trey Murphy, if not better than Trey Murphy, already right there. You got a Kongwu, a starting level center who's gonna be coming off the bench. Ricochet, number one overall pick, we don't know what his ceiling is. Dyson Daniels, was he first team all defensive? Nickeil Alexander-Walker as well. Like, again, we don't know the ceiling of some of the Pelicans guys, but if the team was built like that to fit around Zion like that, I would have more optimism about it. Because this Hawks team is built for an MVP level talent to lead them. And some of us believe that Trae Young is that level of a talent. Some of us also believe that Zion is that level of a talent. This just isn't the roster for him to lead it. Also, you don't believe in him being able to stay healthy. You don't believe in him being able to be durable beyond this year. So the idea that they're going to play well, they're going to be a 7 seed, you're going to give Zion the supermax, same thing the Hawks are thinking. And I think it makes total sense for the Hawks to extend Trae Young right now. But even they're looking at it and saying, okay, we're going to be an okay team. We're going to pay Trae Young for what exactly? Now, they should pay him. They should build with this young core and Trae Young. But it's just a situation where it might be more beneficial to each side to move on in the Zion situation, depending on how they look this year. And I actually think the better Zion looks, the more it makes sense for each side to go separate ways. Unless, right, I know it's going to be a very unpopular video. I'm saying I'm believing the Zion hype. I just don't think it's going to amount to too much for this Pelicans team, and I've already explained that. But unless Fears looks like a future all-star, or unless Jordan Poole has a career year, I don't really see it with this team. Trey Murphy looking awesome, to me, doesn't scream, we got to keep Zion and Trey together. Missy looking awesome doesn't scream, oh, we got to keep him with Zion. An elite three-point shooting forward and a great rim-running, shot-blocking center, maybe we want to put a real defensive small forward next to him. like I was saying before, and again, very similar to Trae Young, not an easy fit, right? Trae Young, another one. If people wanted Trae Young over the last few years, they could have called Atlanta and got Trae Young. But nobody wants to build around Trae Young. So if Zion showcases that ability to look like he could play with other star level players, even though the Pelicans don't have other star level players, but if he's showing he's more mobile on the perimeter, if he's showing he's more willing to set screens and move off ball, all of a sudden he becomes a lot more attractive to other teams as that second star to put with their star. And I just think that's where this is headed. Sorry to be so negative, Pelicans fans, but it's not really a negative. I think it's already too late. Even though Zion's only, 25 years old, I think it's kind of too late, and I think this is going to be the natural order of things. Unless Zion puts up like an MVP level season, I don't see the marriage here being a long one. Because if he has that type of season, the Pelicans phone is going to be ringing off the hook, and it's going to make more sense for that other team to invest in Zion as the number 2, as a 3 to 4 year, I don't want to say rental, but investment, as opposed to building your franchise around this guy, which is what the Pelicans would be doubling down on doing. I just don't think it's going to happen. Maybe I'm wrong. Not coming from a place of hate. I think Zion's going to have an amazing year. I might push the brakes a little bit on the Trey Murphy hype. I was one of the biggest proponents of Trey Murphy. I was one of the first in the fan club that rookie year. I love Trey Murphy, but I think the expectations on him right now are a little bit ridiculous. So don't get me wrong, I definitely see the ceiling version of Trey Murphy, but there's also a world where Trey Murphy is never good enough to be your number 2 option on a very good team. And I understand why we are projecting that, especially coming off the year he just had. After there was no Zion, there was no DeJounte, there was no CJ for a lot of it, no BI obviously. He got to just go out there and do whatever he wanted. But best ideal situation is that Trey Murphy. Are we sure he's going to be this all NBA level player? Maybe he will, right? I believe in the talent, but we're all just kind of assuming that's going to happen. Is him and Zion 2 power forwards that don't really excel on defense the way you want to build? Again, I'm not saying that as a reason to move on. I'm not saying that as something that needs to be decided right now. I'm just asking the question genuinely. Is that the best way to build your team? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Probably not the direction you thought a video would be going about Zion right now. Again, I'm not really saying anything negative about Zion. I just, is what it is. Let me know if I'm tripping in the comments down below. Please drop a like, please comment, please subscribe. It will mean the world to me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm out. Peace.